fringe movement, in which many baseless conspiracy theories are discussed on the internet.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode of the Deep Web Podcasts. Obviously, me, 7Cs, we got OATZMANE. We're actually going to surprise you guys with a special guest today. They brought some stuff that they want to talk about that's really crazy. And then I get myself very on Truman's not so nice list.
This is a banger of an episode. Had a really good time doing it. The boy came through with some fire stuff that I had never heard before. So, I mean, if you think you're into conspiracies, you just might get your mind blown by this, because this is some shit that I had never even heard before.
Hey, let's go ahead and get into it then, right?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
What is up, everybody? Hold on, I'm going to get real close. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Deep Web Podcast. Things might look a little different today. We've got me over here in the corner. We've got OATZMANE over here on the side. What are we on? Episode 29? 29. I can't believe someone's let us do almost 30 of these. I figure I would have gotten on a list somewhere or something already. I know, that was weird. That was weird as fuck. And then, for those of you that may not know, this is, Unethical Edge.
Unethical Edge.
You can find him on Twitter, YouTube. He does deep dives, conspiracies, things like that as well. I believe, you've got some stuff that you were going to bring to the table today to kind of educate some people on, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
God's a dragon.
God is a dragon.
Wait.
Oh,
okay,
shit.
we're in it, bro. Deep off the rip, we're in it.
Game of Thrones shit.
So your Twitter and everything's just Unethical Edge. You ain't got nothing else you want to plug or nothing?
Unethical Edge. I think my YouTube it's Unethical Edge 1, because I was rebranding my old YouTube page. There's music on there and stuff, but yeah.
Hey,
yeah, bro. Well, fuck. Let's get deep into it off the rip.
Hey,
God is a dragon.
Yeah, real quick, man. If you want to give like a little backstory to yourself and like how you stumbled upon this theory, that would be awesome.
Yeah, dude. Just whatever you want to share. I'm interested.
Well, I've always been into religion. Before I got into conspiracy theories, I always call myself a borderline atheist. I'm agnostic, but borderline atheist. I got grounded in 6th grade for the entire summer because I failed and came home with a straight F report card.
Oh shit!
So there was no TV, there was no PlayStation. It was just summer school, and I could read books. And like I said, I used to be really religious, so I read the Bible that summer. And I was like, yeah, this is weird. It contradicts itself too much. So yeah, as I started doing more and more conspiracy videos on TikTok originally, I stumbled across this theory that God was a dragon, and it actually makes a lot of sense. I didn't take all of the theory word from word, word for word, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, with everything that I've read about in the Bible itself, and then just about different religions and other religions where Yahweh is there, yeah, God's he's probably a dragon, and he's probably not a god, or maybe just one god of many.
It's hard.
Religion's crazy.
Yeah.
The damn TikTok doom scrolling, bro, will get you every time, bro.
Yeah, it will.
So go ahead.
I was definitely in my algorithm trying to keep it just giving me wild conspiracy theories. Not saying I believe every conspiracy theory, but
do you ever do that thing where you just like shit just to see how crazy you can build your algorithm to see like what's the wildest shit they'll show you?
No, but I've definitely done that on YouTube, and
I do that on Instagram.
I've gotten into the weirdest parts of YouTube.
You get like 34 subscribers.
Every time I find a weird motherfucker on Instagram, I instantly follow them. I want to see all of them.
Let's go, dude. Yeah, I actually just scrolled on Instagram recently, and I found this lady that is convinced that she's Billy Ray Cyrus's wife. and they got like shotgun married in Vegas, and she's like she's posting like 300 videos or something every month about like, Billy Ray, you gotta leave your current wife. She's no good for you. Don't you remember you love me? I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
She like married some cosplayer in Las Vegas or something.
Yeah, I'd rather get down those.
She was drunk. She was drunk, so it was him.
Come fix my achy breaky heart.
God dang, bro.
Oh shit. So Yahweh is a dragon. Do you have like a video or anything that might cover some of the stuff, or like some good sources we could look into?
It's a very bold claim, bro. I gotta...
there is a few videos out there. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you just look up Yahweh is a dragon on YouTube, there's a few people that talk about it.
I love,
but like
finding new theories, bro. It's just they're never ending.
Hey.
But it's like I mean, just the way they describe him in the Bible, and like he was in that tent forever, where they would like bring him gold and stuff as as tribute.
Huh.
Why would a god need gold? But what loves gold and treasure?
Yeah,
dragon.
Classic. That's classic. Like stories, all the dragons.
I never thought about that. They like smog and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like smoke coming from his nose, and an elongated nose.
What about all like the Eastern like dragon shit? How they like control the weather? It's like, you know what I'm saying?
I really think that like dragons were real. Have y'all ever seen the movie Reign of Fire? Okay, so there's a movie called Reign of Fire. It has Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey in it.
Okay.
And it came out in like 2003 or something like that. I may be off on that year, but they were like all the dragons. They were basically in hibernation, and they were digging and doing some structure in a cave. I can't remember at the very beginning, but they awoken like the father of dragons, and then it's post-apocalyptic. The dragons come out and just start harvesting humans. Like we were basically their food source, and they were waiting for us to replenish.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes sense. Like if they're deep underground, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not against it, bro.
I fucked up.
Reign of Fire, dude. That looks familiar now that I'm seeing like the cover of it.
Oh man, it's a fantastic movie.
It might be something that I remember. I just you just unlocked a memory or some shit.
It was I think I first saw it on like the Sci-Fi Channel or something when I was.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I think I remember it like coming out or something.
2002. I wasn't that far.
Dude, you were close.
I was real close.
Dude, you almost had that.
Do you guys ever do a thing where like you measure time based on like where you feel it was close to 9/11?
Oh yeah, dude.
All the time.
Dude.
All the time, bro. That was like the first awakening was 9/11.
That was the first big thing that happened in our generation's life. I feel like
everything changed after 9/11. It's like, oh, this was pre 9/11. Holy shit, everything was rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but
I sent you a video over on Discord, by the way.
Sick. I ended up sharing my screen, and then it pushed all of us outside of the capture windows.
Your whole fucking format's fucked.
Don't talk about my whole dude. Fucking weird. All right. What you
getting this whole
there,
formatted?
Sometimes you got to.
Hold on now, no.
No. No. Not this hole.
Boom, dude. Let's see what this is. Got for us Psalm 18:18. I think I was just looking at one of those. What was it? It was 17:8.
That person in that Reddit video was actually, they referenced this guy.
That's
Mr. So it's like a small community of people talking about this shit, bro.
That's cool.
It's like they all referencing each other.
Yeah.
I'm aware that this video is going to be controversial and will, at the very least, make some of my viewers uncomfortable. It is not my intention to undermine anyone's religious beliefs, but simply to investigate a surprisingly deep and bizarre rabbit hole which I stumbled upon some time ago. You're welcome to disagree. My sources, the vast majority of which are drawn from the ancient Hebrew Bible, also known as the Tanakh, are listed in this video's description.
And that's like the Book of Enoch, like Dead Sea Scrolls shit, right?
The Tanakh?
Yeah.
It's the original Bible before it was translated, I believe.
Okay, so that would be the one that was in Hebrew.
Yeah.
And got translated to Greek?
Got translated to a million different things.
yeah,
I don't remember.
But I
So
think,
much shit's lost in translation. Shit's been removed. All kinds of shit.
yeah, I think it was like 300 AD Rome or whatever, they established the Council of Nicaea, and that's when they officially like started Roman Catholicism and shit, and
made the canon Bible where they
Yeah.
exclude everything they don't like.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
That's
right,
real, yeah.
listen
Well-
closely and try to guess what I'm describing. It has a long snout, and smoke pours from its nostrils. It breathes fire. It has wings and can fly. It dwells inside of a mountain, hoarding its golden treasure. Lastly, it eats livestock. And yes, you heard this right, female virgins too. Well, did you guess Yahweh? If you
Wait, dragons eat virgins?
They sacrifice virgins to dragons all the time, man.
What the fuck? I need to catch up on my dragon
Don't
lore,
you-
dude.
Don't you remember the classic story of the knight trying to save a princess?
Yeah.
know?
Fuck, it's all coming together, bro.
See, I always thought that was
Fuck.
just like medieval terrorism or something.
Terrorism by dragon.
Dragon.
guessed the
That's
God
basically
of the
like a
Israelites,
Right.
known by the sacred name Yahweh as described in the Hebrew Bible, you'd be absolutely correct. Of course, these two are the stereotypical and practically universal descriptors of the mythical creature known as a dragon. But perhaps this connection between the two should not be so surprising. Dragons have appeared in virtually every major culture across the world, and are so old that scholars genuinely have no idea when or where the dragon first originated.
That's enough. And I'm sorry, I keep pausing, but that's
No,
enough-
you're good. It's good to talk about it as you don't want to just sit here and go. I was gonna say it's crazy though, because I was just thinking, like, dude, how are dragons everywhere?
Because they're real.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they have to have some kind of like background of like proof. You know what I'm saying? It's got to have some kind of something there for them to be everywhere. Even like back in the day when like there was supposedly no communicating between people, everybody's like segregated in their own areas.
Yeah.
There's still dragons everywhere.
And dragons are always described as extremely intelligent beings, right?
Yeah.
Like you rarely hear a story where they're like, "Oh yeah, this dragon was an idiot."
It's not like
Yeah.
a brain dead like squirrel or nothing. It's like fucking a sentient being or whatever.
So like I have a personal theory that dragons are like the fallen angels and all that.
Oh,
Maybe like one of those
Nephilim?
they're aliens.
Oh, shit.
There's something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
And then they
So
came
you
down
said-
here and they just started acting like gods to this
See,
primitive
earlier-
society.
You said you were agnostic. So does that mean that you don't know, right? But
Right.
you kind of feel like if there is a god that he's a dragon. That's like what
I-
you're going.
I-
or is this just like you presenting the idea and you know what I'm saying? Is this what
I-
you're leaning towards?
I think that there's probably not a god. There are probably
Okay.
gods, right? And
Okay.
if you like when you look into some of the other religions that are,
paganism and
Abrahamic, like Gnosticism and things
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, they mention multiple gods. There's multiple gods mentioned in the Bible.
Mhm.
Everybody just believes they're talking about the same one.
Yeah.
But Yahweh was the God of the Israelites. right?
Okay. Yeah.
So he was kind of just put in charge of them, and they thought he was a god. That's my opinion. I'm not
Okay.
even saying that the gods are the actual creators. But then when we also look at history and we see all of the different pagan religions, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, there's really only one God.
So
I think that there were multiple gods,
yeah,
gods that did different things. They had different jobs. The way that was interpreted by primitive society is, they were like, oh yeah, he's rising the sun. No, he just got up early.
so do you believe in like there is like one creator behind all of that, or
possibly?
like how do you think like it all starts? You know what I'm saying? Because you can have all these gods, but like how did that start?
I don't know.
No, I'm not. I don't expect
I
you to
have
all the answers. I'm just trying to pick your brain. You know what I'm saying?
I have absolutely no idea.
Respect.
Okay.
When I think when I look at like what we as humanity believe to be gods, I think that it was probably some type of advanced creature. It could have been a dragon. It could have been something that was perceived as a dragon. It could have fucking been an alien. I don't know. But those probably aren't the actual gods.
So this is a little off topic, but kind of on topic. How do you feel about the simulation theory? Do you think that's a possibility? Because I feel like these things can all exist at one time. You know, you can have gods and also a simulation. You know what I'm saying?
The simulation theory is crazy. Especially like I work with technology, so it's definitely possible that we live in a simulation. I would not be surprised if, especially like when we're watching AI advance the way it's advanced so quickly over these last couple years. It's definitely possible that we live in a simulation and God is just a guy sitting there and typing some code behind a computer in a reality, not even necessarily the prime reality.
Motherfucker got the admin console going on.
He's just over there like, and then a meteor strikes.
It's like let's fuck with him and see what can happen after.
We're really got a computerized game of D&D, right?
Hey, I mean, it feels like it sometimes, man. Like the most off the wall shit will happen.
That's facts. That's facts.
But it's also like coincidental at the same time. You're like, I'll fucking get it.
Yeah. I don't have any idea. But like y'all remember the first Men in Black, right? Yeah. And how there was the galaxy within the galaxy.
Yeah.
It'll be like that. Like how at the end of that movie, it kind of just scrolled back.
We're like
galaxy,
living
galaxy,
in a marble
galaxy.
or something.
Yeah, but that could be a computer. Right? And this simulation exists in this computer, and then that computer is simulated by another computer, and it just
I
don't know, man.
It reminds me of that Rick and
the
Morty
rabbit holes,
episode.
man.
Yeah, dude, I feel it.
The rabbit holes.
There's that episode of Rick and Morty where like he created this whole universe to like power his car or whatever, and they created a whole universe to power their shit, and it just went like 5 levels down. I'm like, man, I really hope I'm not just like some electron in a fucking Keurig for some like 600-foot tall guy. Like, it is crazy.
Business analyst.
Yeah. It is crazy though that like they mentioned that every culture has one, because that reminds me of like the flood, and that has been like scientifically proven and shit, and it's like that was in every major religion. So I'm wondering what this guy's got.
Perhaps most relevantly, dragons have a tendency to be worshipped as gods. Archaeological evidence strongly suggests that the ancient Chinese worshipped dragons, known as Long, as far back as 5,000 years BC. In Mesoamerica, carvings of Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec god of wind, air, and learning, actually predated the Aztecs by over 2,000 years. And for the Australian Aboriginals, one of the most isolated and ancient people on Earth, their creator god is known as the rainbow serpent, yet another variation of the dragon.
Yeah, dude. It's right there.
What the fuck?
So that's what I was talking about earlier with like the Chinese, like they have those dragon like deities or whatever. They're like gods basically, like, oh, they control the weather. It's like what he was talking about. But that also would go to like a godly thing, you know, God, like, you know, people in the Western civilization talking about like God creates the weather, all that shit, you know.
And I do believe that there are some stories of dragons where they take the form of humans.
Oh
right?
shit.
Okay.
So like maybe the dragon didn't always appear as a dragon.
Yeah.
Maybe it was hiding in a cave. It breathed some fire on a bush and started talking. You know, it was a ventriloquist.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Okay.
shit. Connecting dots, bro.
Ventriloquist dragon.
Yeah, bro.
What if
Just
they're like extra dimensional beings? Where
Are you
like
talking about reptilians, bro?
I mean, fuck, dude. Who do you
Dragons.
who would
Yeah.
reptile people worship? Big ass reptiles. But that's crazy because the Aborigines were down in Australia and like they didn't fuck with nobody.
Mm.
And they're like, yeah, there's dragons.
In the pyramid texts, which are the oldest known corpus of ancient Egyptian religious writings, lies one of the first literary descriptions of this incredible creature. They describe a giant serpent deity known as Denwen, whose body was made of fire and whose flames were so powerful they ignited a massive blaze that nearly obliterated all the other gods of the Egyptian pantheon. This list can go on, but we're here today to focus on the God of the ancient Israelites, Yahweh. Yahweh is painted as a vengeful, divine warrior who more often than not violently annihilates his enemies. More than
For those keeping up at home, Yahweh is Old Testament God.
that,
Oh, yeah.
the Hebrew Bible uses a set of specific imageries repeatedly to describe his physical presence on earth, ultimately leaving us with an undeniable image of none other than an incredibly powerful dragon. I'm able to present scriptural evidence of each and every feature that I listed before during our guessing game, and more. And it's going to get very weird, especially if you are familiar with an Abrahamic religion, such as Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. We'll begin our journey with the snout or nostrils of Yahweh, a peculiar mystery which led me to stumble upon this rabbit hole in the first place.
Yeah, because I'm kind of interested in like the parts in the Bible that are describing like the physiognomy of God or whatever. Because it's always just we were made in His image, and I'm just like, okay, so He looks like a guy.
I loved you sounding out that word, bro. That was awesome.
What's that? Physiognomy?
Yeah. It's like you were just questioning yourself the whole way through it.
Yeah,
I love
man.
it.
Hey,
No, but I'm interested in that too, bro.
yeah. Because like, I mean, you know, was God like a Giga Chad, or did He look like a little simpy like?
Looked like a giant lizard
God
with
is
wings.
a simp dragon.
He looked like he mainlining soy.
In the various English versions of the Bible, the Hebrew word apaim is typically translated as a fanciful synonym of face or anger. Modern scholars, however, deem this translation as inaccurate. Why? Because out of the 9 verses that describe Yahweh with this word, all of them specifically reference its elongation and length, which makes absolutely no sense when describing Yahweh's face or anger. These length references are completely omitted in most translations, likely because the translators found that descriptor to be nonsensical. But in the original Hebrew, they indeed remain. Moreover, there are other forms of this word with the same meaning identified throughout the Bible, many of which are used to further describe this feature of Yahweh. So, what does apaim actually mean? With overwhelming agreement from biblical scholars, the word literally translates to nostrils. This leaves us with the perplexing mystery.
God got a big old nose, dude. I mean,
That was a Jew.
That's what I was about to say. But the Jew knows, bro. What are you talking about?
he looks just like us.
We're in it.
I was waiting for you to say it as soon as they just showed this guy right here.
You're looking at this Wikipedia article talking about nostrils, nose. I'm sitting
Hold
here
on.
connecting the dots. I'm like, huh.
Let me look up God's Wikipedia and check his early life. Hold on. That's crazy though, because like I dug a lot into like the fall of like polytheism and shit in Rome. And a lot of that comes from like the Jews didn't want the Romans to practice Judaism because they didn't want them to be included like as their chosen people. So they gave them like this from their translations of the Dead Sea Scrolls and turned it into a more relatable being in the Greek translation. Constantine was the Roman emperor, and he's the guy that basically allowed Christianity to overtake polytheism in Rome. And the guy that helped like raise him got like 12 dudes from the lost tribes of Israel or whatever to just come to Rome. They took all the Hebrew texts, and then Constantine was like, all right, I'm just going to trust whatever you guys say. And that's the Bible. And I'm like, wait a minute. So all these changes and shit that you're talking about, like how they took out the word like nose to mean like face instead and all this other shit. I'm like, that kind of lines up with the whole, like, they just kind of cherry picked what the fuck they wanted to translate.
Manipulation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck,
From
man.
the beginning of time, dude.
Thousands of years.
As to
Unless you believe the whole Tartaria thing, where they're like,
Oh, now you're getting a Tartaria dog.
Hey.
we removed this time. That was just like last week, basically. They did it last week. Man.
Tartaria had a flag that was like nationally recognized by the what was UN called before the UN?
I don't know.
It was like the World I don't remember, but they like had it. Tartaria had their own fucking flag in the charter or whatever.
Always apparently,
and I'm like, but it didn't exist. I don't.
Long nostrils
Is that where tartar sauce comes from?
were so important that they were mentioned so many times throughout multiple generations of scripture. To explain, scholars assume that in ancient Israel, Yahweh may have been seen as a beast with lengthy, protruding nostrils. For example, an alligator, a bull, or, of course, a dragon.
Ooh, the bull imagery reminds me a lot of Moloch. And like the Molochian like bull sacrifices and shit.
This list of potential candidates can quickly be narrowed down, though, by looking at a few key verses. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 22 states the following: For a fire is kindled in my nostrils, and shall burn to the lowest hell, and it shall consume the earth with her increase, and set ablaze the foundations of the mountains. And then we have the description of Yahweh in Psalms. Smoke went up from his nostrils, and devouring fire from out of his mouth. Coals flamed forth from him. Very interestingly, this description of the God of the Israelites is exactly paralleled by the Book of Job's depiction of the monstrous creature Leviathan, which is generally accepted to be an actual biblical dragon. Out of his mouth go burning torches, and sparks of fire leap forth. Out of his nostrils go smoke, as out of a boiling pot, and burning rushes. His breath kindles coals, and
why is God sounding like the devil?
Because the devil won the war in heaven,
dude,
and kicked everybody else out.
My main theory is that the whole Abrahamic thing is like, yo, instead of worshiping God, why don't you try worshiping Satan and call him God?
And converting it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into like the inversion, and yeah, I'm almost wondering if it like overlaps with some of this, because it talks about like fuck, I don't even remember, man. I probably shouldn't have started drinking before we recorded.
Flame goes out of his mouth. Moving along, but still relevant to our discussion of Yahweh's nostrils, there is evidence of ancient discourse on whether Yahweh could actually intervene in the world unless his long nostrils, as a metaphor for his physical presence, could reach the site of intervention. This directly
they're saying God got a long nose because he keeps it in everyone's business. Always watching, dude. Quit watching
You know,
me jack
like-
off, God.
I started thinking of like media and stuff. Like you got like, you know, like Pokemon. You got
Yeah.
like Rayquaza, which is like a god or whatever. Then you got like Dragon Ball, which is like Shinron or whatever. It's like grants the wishes and all that shit. It's just like all of these fucking aspects of media have like godly dragons in them, bro.
Yeah.
And they're always depicted as dragons.
But you see right there where he's talking about God could only intervene if his nostrils could reach.
Yeah.
He could only intervene if he was physically there. He's not omnipresent.
Yeah.
He has to be there to, you know, burn cities down after they march around them for however long.
So I'm almost wondering too, like, do you think it's one singular dragon, or do you think maybe it's like a pantheon of dragons?
See, that's kind of what I think, is that it was originally a pantheon of dragons, right? And then there was some type of disagreement, and this god, Yahweh, this dragon, kind of won things, and then he was like, "You are my chosen people." I always found it suspicious that they're like, God is supposed to be omnipresent. He can reveal himself to everyone at once if he wanted to, but he chose like this tiny little place to be like, "Yeah, you guys, you guys, I created everything, but you guys are the ones. You're the ones."
Yeah.
And let me tell you, dude, I could get into about 4 hours worth of talking about God's chosen people, but we're not going to do that here.
Yeah, see, I don't know. So TJ, I don't know what you are. You said you're agnostic. I would say that I believe in God, but I also don't like organized religion. So it's like I feel like I have my own connection with whatever the hell it is. I can't tell you what you know what I'm saying? I can't explain to you what it is.
Yeah.
But I do feel like a lot of it's been like bastardized and inverted, and like a lot of the organized religion shit I don't get into. You know, it's just kind of like my own thing with myself, which maybe it goes back to God's inside of you or whatever the hell that is.
Whoa,
you know,
hold on.
So I have
TJ, you've been drinking too much. Relax.
I have a bit of a theory, that one of the reasons why, like, everybody has souls, right? We're embedded with morals at birth, is my opinion. Like, we have these morals. We know right from wrong. I think that God was like, "Hey, I'm going to that is the image that we are created." Right?
Shit.
Like God removed himself from reality, gave us all a piece of himself, and we do with that what we will.
It's
right?
like
And then
that's above, so within. You know?
and now we had at some point, I don't know if this is still going on, but you know, we had the ones that were left, the people left behind, these angels per se, right? That they got into the fight. They were the ones that got into all this. Lucifer was pissed off because God just gave himself up to us to create us. And he's like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, I want some of that. I want some soul energy."
Man,
I think he's trying to jack our loose, bro.
That's why you got to believe in yourself. That's why you got to believe in you, because you are God.
It's crazy. You're told this shit from the moment you're young or whatever. Your whole life you hear this shit. You got to believe in yourself. It all comes from within or whatever. But you hear it so much to where it's almost like it loses its power.
Yeah,
right.
You know, it's like, but really, if you think about it, I mean, shit, you're right, dude.
Yeah, you look at like all the super rich, successful people that are like internal motivation is everything, and like all this other shit, and it's finding that internal. I almost feel like connecting with God is like you find your purpose in life that just drives you, and you don't have. It doesn't feel like work anymore. Living doesn't feel like you're working.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think those are the people that are like godly, where it's like every day is just fucking, what are we getting into today, dude? Let's go.
Challenges the idea of the omnipresence and omnipotence of the Israelite God, and implies that Yahweh may actually be a physical being with limitations. This is found in Psalms chapter 10. The wicked says, from the height of his nostrils, he, Yahweh, will not seek us. What the wicked is implying is that when Yahweh is not physically near their location, mankind can get away with sinful acts without punishment. Of course, the wicked's assumption is immediately rejected by the writer in Psalms, but this contrary opinion must have been prominent enough for the writer to mention it. Before we proceed to the next argument, on the possibility of Yahweh's physical nature, might this be why he required a massive portable tent known as the tabernacle, as recorded in Exodus?
Oh, I thought tabernacle was just a place you prayed at. It's a tent.
No, that's where you take your treasures to, the dragon and your virgins.
So you're all right. So there's a dragon inside that mecha cube, dude. I'm calling it. Break
Bro,
that
they
bitch
talk
up.
about like the building the sacrifice table and all that shit, bro.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, man. Could you imagine if we still like had that? It's like every year America voted on which virgin we're gonna sacrifice.
Take the ugly one.
Sorry. Whoops. Yeah, that's the thing too. Does God need hot virgins?
Oh, I'm sure, man. He's
The hotter the better, bro.
clearly has a huge ego. Like he's they gotta be hot.
Oh man. Because like, wouldn't you just I mean, there's this Down syndrome 14-year-old girl here.
He'd turn him away.
He said,
Their virgin blood is tainted.
I don't do anything above an 8 or below an 8 day.
For 440 years, this
Oh shit. Oh no.
Oh, you
a
restarted?
peculiar mystery, which led me to stumble upon this
Look
for the
before
tabernacle.
years. A massive portable tent known as the tabernacle, as recorded in Exodus.
Exodus?
For 440 years, this building-sized tent was the supposed earthly dwelling place of Yahweh, where offerings of prepared meals as well as sacrificed livestock were given on a daily.
Wait. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt that. But what they say in the Bible that God was located in a physical place
Mm-hmm.
for 400 something years. What the fuck?
He was on Earth physically.
I skimmed that.
And then he
part.
bounced.
basis.
What if he was one of us, just a
was
stranger on a bus?
at the door when it was open. Of course, the true purpose of the tabernacle continues to be hotly debated and is beyond.
Why does that look like the Ark of the Covenant?
That's definitely the Ark of the Covenant.
And then you got the fucking Hanukkah thing. What's that called?
I almost said a dreidel.
that's a Jewish thing.
I was gonna call it a
it-
candelabra, but that's not right. Whatever that thing
I can't-
is, the Jewish candle thing,
Menorah?
menorah.
Yeah,
That's it,
that's it.
dude. And like everything's gold.
That's how like they say like all that shit has to like they tell you how it's supposed to be built and everything. It's like corners of gold or whatever and all this shit.
Yeah.
And who told them that? God.
Boy,
Who liked gold?
yeah, we like
Because
gold
he
and
was a
virgins, bro.
dragon.
He's like a Jersey Shore fucking extra, bro.
It reminds me too, like when I think of who plates everything in gold, I think of Donald Trump. You got that dragon energy, dude.
On the scope of this video.
The wings.
Next is the curious existence of Yahweh's wings. Apart from the many references of Yahweh flying around the sky found throughout the Old Scriptures, there are 6 striking depictions.
Whoa. Your wings, God and humans seek refuge in the shadow of your wings. In the shadow of your wings, I seek refuge. Why does God have wings? I thought the angels were the ones
bro.
that had wings. I mean, yeah, but like they weren't supposed to say it.
Maybe they did the whole time and we just are catching on.
Dude.
Of a winged Yahweh within the book of Psalms. Each mention implies the protective nature of his massive wingspan, which quickly leads us to consider that the wings of Yahweh are metaphorical, portraying him as a mother bird, as opposed to being a literal physical feature. There are major problems with this theory, though. First, imagery and artistic depictions of a bird protecting its young are, as of today, unknown to exist in Syro-Palestinian art from the Iron Age up until the Persian period. The only similar images found were of vultures with outstretched wings, but never were they pictured protecting their young. A mother bird metaphor, therefore, is highly unlikely, as that idea and image simply wasn't part of the culture when Psalms was written. Also worth mentioning is that a mother bird metaphor would be a uniquely feminine image of Yahweh, which is practically unheard of in the Hebrew Bible, where he is otherwise described in hypermasculine terms, with the earth itself being his feminine complement.
Hey, God, one of them toxic males, dude. Let's go.
You
That's
asked
what I was
if
gonna
he
say.
was a
That
Giga
was a
Chad.
little, I was gonna say the Giga Chad, bro.
Oh,
You
man.
called it.
Wings, however, were consistently present in depictions of ancient Eastern gods, many of whom were also known to fly, and some even breathing fire, such as the lesser deity Anzu of Mesopotamian religions. Secondly, in Psalm 91, verse 4, we see a mention of Yahweh's feathers. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. Pinions are the flight feathers of a wing. We may not immediately connotate feathers with the image of a dragon, but the fact is that many ancient depictions of winged dragons included feathered wings up until the medieval era.
Hey, every man's dream.
Livestock, virgins, and gold, dog.
Just a farmer's dream, man.
And God is in every man, bro.
Hey.
It is here where this rabbit hole really takes a questionable turn. In our investigation of the nostrils, I briefly mentioned Yahweh's massive tent, the tabernacle, where he received prepared food and sacrificed livestock on a daily basis.
And the smoke coming out of it.
Of course, this is far from the only instance Yahweh accepted edible offerings. In chapter 31 of the book of Numbers, Yahweh commands the prophet Moses and his army of 12,000 men to take revenge against the Midianites and wage bloody war on their people. For readability's sake, we'll use the New Living Translation, but you'll find that, regardless of your version of the Bible, the explicit details of this passage are exactly the same. After murdering every Midianite man and their leaders, pillaging their city, and capturing all the women and children, Moses commands his troops to kill all the boys and all the women who have had intercourse with a man. It's passages like these that remind you how brutal the old scriptures really were. Moving on, though, Moses...
Wait.
And that God hated gays.
So is he talking about pedophiles? He said boys and women who had relationships with men, not
Dude.
men and women.
Dude, they had already killed all the men.
Oh.
but ancient times were really fucked up.
Yeah.
So
Hear
hear me
they
out.
Would like,
Go ahead.
they would just like take young boys and have them dressed like women and follow them around holding their pockets, basically like it was prison.
They were.
Ah,
Oh,
They still do that in some places in the Middle East, actually.
yeah. I was gonna say, like, one of the best things you can do in warfare is like ruin the future generation of a people. So if you're killing all of the boys, there goes an entire generation of fighting men.
Well, see,
His men
wouldn't
divide
kill-
their
they wouldn't-
plunder and give a portion of
My fault.
they wouldn't kill all of them because, of course, they have to take the rest of
Mhm.
them and
Yeah.
indoctrinate them to
Yeah.
be their fighting men. It's the same thing that's happening in Russia right now.
In here,
Where Russia's taking all like these Ukrainian orphans and like stealing them and sending them to like re-education camps, basically.
Yeah. Or like all the kids here that go to public school. Hey, you don't have to learn about
Government-sponsored re-education camps.
you ain't got to learn about math. Just hate your penis enough to cut it off. You'll be all right.
To Yahweh, which includes 32 Midianite virgins who were never heard from again. I'm not kidding. You can read the verse yourself. It says, quote, half of the plunder was given to the fighting men. It totaled 337,500 sheep and goats, of which 675 were the Lord's share, 36,000 cattle, of which 72 were the Lord's share, 30,500 donkeys, of which 61 were the Lord's share, and 16,000 virgin girls, of whom 32 were the Lord's share.
And they're talking about sacrifice. That's
They were given to him.
That's crazy.
Now, of course, you can believe that it's just sacrifice, or they were just like, "Hey, here's some living things for you to eat."
Yeah, I'm like, it's weird that God wants things that are meat.
It's weird that God wants all these things that are physical.
Yeah. Which is crazy because they tell you to reject the physical is the whole thing of the Bible.
Because you got to give it to God.
Mm.
He's a dragon. He's stingy.
God.
It goes on, though. Moses and Eleazar the priest received the gold from all the military commanders, all kinds of jewelry and crafted objects. In all, the gold that the generals and captains presented as a gift to the Lord weighed about 420 pounds.
Hey, yo.
Okay, there's a lot of details here, so let's talk about the livestock first. The majority of dragons in folklore are carnivores, meaning they eat meat. That one's obvious. But realistically, what could Yahweh possibly want with 32 virgins and 420 pounds of gold? Well, it is an interesting revelation that for many of the cultures that worshipped dragons in the past, the preferred sacrificial offerings were indeed virgin girls. The Aztecs sacrificed a virgin girl to the feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl twice a year in their 18-month calendar.
That's the one that predicted the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's man. I'm convinced that when this was supposed to end is when we dipped into the stupidest timeline. It was like
That's when the world actually ended, man.
yeah, it was 12.
That's when CERN failed the God
I was about to
particle.
say.
Yes,
Didn't they like start doing that around then?
yes, dude. You're speaking my
Yes,
language.
bro.
The second you said CERN, we have a couple
Yeah.
episodes on CERN, and they're bullshit. Fuck you,
Japanese
Sally
Shinto
Fields.
tradition, the eight-headed dragon, Orochi, demanded the sacrifice of the virgin daughters of two minor deities every 7 years. And perhaps you've heard of George and the Dragon. This classical folktale, which is confirmed to predate Christianity, tells of a dragon that demanded a sheep and a maiden, aka a female virgin, sacrifice every day. Why this idea is so prevalent and consistent across cultures and time remains unknown. However, in European folklore, the pure, untainted blood of virgins is sometimes implied to be equal in value to gold, and is often used in a manner of currency, for example, as a means of exchange with the dragon, or appeasement. Collecting and hoarding gold is, of course, a stereotype of dragons that remains portrayed
Racism, dude, everywhere.
Dude, it's
in popular media.
crazy. It's just so crazy. Like all this
Though
shit.
it is
I know.
Like
Like-
it predates Christianity, all these like dragon folklore, dude. It just comes together perfectly, dude.
Yeah.
indeed ancient, as well as a consistent trait found across the world. For instance, the typical dragon in medieval Christian folklore guarded a mountainous cavern or castle filled to the brim with treasure. This same trope is also found thousands of years prior across the globe in the classical Chinese mythology of the Futsang, which translates to Hidden Treasure Dragon, a guardian
Way
of
better than I
precious
would.
Dude, yeah, that's what I was like. Damn, my boy
He's
switched up
been dead.
this piece
He's
real
been
quick.
dead
Hey,
perfectly.
I
hey.
wonder where like the castle comes from. You know,
Oh yeah,
like
like
other
the,
than just medieval times. I wonder if there's like an actual meaning.
I'm almost
It-
wondering, because like the whole imagery with like Lucifer and stuff, and his relationship with like fire and all that shit. Like he
Mm.
has the chains all the time in like depictions
Yeah.
of him, and I'm wondering if like the dragon being like chained up in a castle or whatever the fuck might be like an illusion of that.
Now, is it the dragon that's usually chained up, or is it the girl? Or is it both?
I don't know. I figured the dragon's chained up so
I think
that
you're talking about Shrek, bro.
Look, man, maybe God is Shrek.
Maybe I'm talking about Shrek, bro.
But in Reign of Fire, they were holed up in a castle after the world ended.
Really?
Maybe
where they were-
my
that's where they were
whole
living.
religion is Shrek, bro.
Dude,
Fuck.
you remember that meme that said Shrek is life from a couple
Shrek
years
is
Shrek is
love,
God.
bro.
Get out of my swamp.
New conspiracy theory unlocked.
Oh shit.
Metals and jewels, who dwells in volcanic mountains.
Oh shit, dude. All right, so we're about halfway through this, but I don't think we're gonna be able to clear the other half. I would love to pick it up at another point and keep talking about it, but I have some stuff that's been itching on my brain that I really need to discuss with you guys.
Okay.
Let's go.
It'll take about 20 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
All right. So I have been looking up all of the proof as to why nukes are not real.
Oh shit! Switch it up real quick.
Yes.
Did you remember the old nuclear videos and shit?
Yeah, we watched that. What was that?
I
Episode
know.
2, maybe?
Dude, they all just look like mini, like fucking model towns.
Yeah. So
Shit does not even look like. Where's the fucking camera? Why is the camera still there after everything's been decimated?
yeah. So Apollo, just for a quick reference, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, World War II, all that shit. You've seen the test footage, and did you watch like Oppenheimer or anything with like the bikini atoll?
I've not seen Oppenheimer, but I have seen some of the test footage. Not as of late, but yes.
I got you. Yeah, we looked up some of the test footage on one of the earliest episodes and like went through it frame by frame. I think it was this exact it picked up right where we left off, where we went through like the exact video frame by frame and being like, dude, this is fake. There's no way that this could fucking happen. And like just all kinds of different shit. But I decided to take a little further. So
Okay.
first of all, I've been looking up some stuff, and the element that was used in the bomb in Hiroshima was uranium-235. Nagasaki used a plutonium-based bomb. The question I have is, if uranium-235 has a half-life, it says it right here, 700 million years, which means that the radioactive capacity of the bomb would take 700 million years to cut in half, to be half as poisonous, half as lethal. And then for Nagasaki, it was 24,000 years. And they say today the background radiation in Hiroshima and Nagasaki is the same as the average amount of natural radiation present anywhere on Earth. It is not enough to affect human health.
Very interesting.
Here is a picture of the Nagasaki bombing.
Hold on. Say that to me one more time.
Here is a picture of the Nagasaki bombing.
I was. What's not enough to the radiation of which?
Oh, the radiation of the two bombs are like the two bomb sites are equal to the same amount of radiation anywhere on Earth at this point.
Right. Okay.
Got you. Where like you know, when they were describing the nukes and stuff, they said it would take 70 years, I think it was, before it'd be habitable again.
Mm-hmm.
This is a picture that was released by the United States State Department showing the atomic blast of Nagasaki. But then there's two different pictures of a bomb going off in places where there's different parts of each. You can see over here on the left, they took that bottom part, and then the cloud on the right is the one they ended up using. And then
one's got like a plane wing or something in it, and then like another little.
They cut that off because it would make it seem like they were too close to the explosion for a nuke. Because
it reminds me of like that NASA thing where they're like viewing the moon from like the round window, but it's across the fucking ship from it, so it looks like it's a further away like picture of the Earth, but really it's just the round window that makes it look like that.
Yeah.
So it's like about just perspective.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
and,
they don't want the wing there because they don't want it to look like they're closer than
they're close enough to be affected by the blast. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I started looking into Hiroshima specifically. The population of Hiroshima before the bomb dropped was 350,000. 5 years later, they had a population of 500,000 people living where the bomb had dropped.
Like ground zero?
Ground zero.
Yeah, in Hiroshima.
Yeah. And
have you looked into the antwalkers of Hiroshima?
I haven't.
It's
dude, fuck.
It's a book, and it talks. It's like a first person perspective of people that were there when the bombs dropped.
Oh shit. Now, the one thing that I always have like an issue with is we have more what is it? Testimonies from the Holocaust recorded than we have had like living survivors in the last 25 years. And it's like, were all those people actually there when the bomb dropped? Or did someone pay them to say they were there?
Or are they even real
people?
Testimonies.
Yeah.
They just saying, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is another long
body.
But
came an overwhelming thirst, unlike anything that they'd ever experienced. The bomb's explosion had instantly caused water to evaporate from rivers.
That's okay. So it's hot enough to make water flash evaporate, because they estimated that the heat of the explosion was 6,000 to 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit, like at the epicenter. And that guy talking about the water instantly evaporating, but there are pictures of whole ass fucking trees still intact right where the bomb went off.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said the epicenter was like right over here somewhere. And with the temperature that it was, none of these trees should be standing.
So what you're saying is like basically bombs are real. You think the nuke bombs are basically fabricated to probably scare people so they can control them and maybe like trick other, not so in the know nations and stuff that, like we're elite basically.
Yeah, like so in the theory that like the powers that be have used hell to scare people into doing what they want and shit before, it's like, well, what's the hell that you have to worry about before you're dead? It's a nuclear wasteland. It's everything's irradiated, you can't live there, everything's poison.
So I don't remember everything about Hiroshima, but didn't the bomb detonate like didn't it not hit the ground or something like that? Didn't it detonate in the air?
That is what the narrative is, because when it comes to an explosion that way, the only way to create a mushroom cloud effect is for it to not hit the ground, because a lot of the explosion will disperse on the ground versus the air like rapidly rising. It'll spread out horizontally. So they say that it does that, but that is the only way to get like a combustible bomb that is non-chemical to create a mushroom cloud. A chemical bomb can hit the ground and create a mushroom cloud. And that's what I personally think the nukes might have been, because after World War I, chemical weapons were outlawed by the Geneva Convention. Well, how do you cover up using chemical bombs? You say they're not chemical, you use them anyway, and you firebomb and white phosphorus an entire city and say that it was nukes. And I have like all kinds of shit, and I'll try to speed run through it, but today's population of Hiroshima, they're setting at over 2 million people. You guys know about Chernobyl, where it's supposed to be like one of those rated, you're not even allowed to like live near there.
You got the fucking elephant foot or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, but a site where there was nuclear fission with a half-life of 70 million years, now you have 5 million people living there.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
You know, I mean, what is like the sickness rate and like the, all the, the illnesses and shit,
That's what I started to look at, and they say that an overwhelming amount of them happened immediately after the bomb, which could be, side effects to exposure to chemicals. It could be a variety of different things, but the thing that got me the most was they have these flowers over there called oleanders, and they're like super sensitive. They're like the opposite of cactuses, right? Like you have to take care of them, you have to water them, shit like that. They're super sensitive. 6 months after the bombs dropped, there were oleanders that were blooming that were recorded by like a BBC journalist and shit that like got footage of like oleander flowers literally growing in the spot where the bomb was supposedly dropped.
And they're supposed to be like super delicate, only grow under super like specific conditions and shit.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And it says like the following summer, oleanders bloomed, camphor trees, many of them hundreds of years old, sprouted new branches. Their recovery touched the hearts of local people. And like they've basically associated the oleander with like the resilience of Japanese people.
Yeah.
Which is just weird. Now another thing, there's this YouTube video interview with this lady. She was 14 years old when she was employed by Japan to run trolleys and stuff in Hiroshima. The day after, I think it was 14 hours after the bomb had dropped, she was back working the trolleys, which you're thinking about like 6,000 degrees. You're going to have the rubber around the wires are melted. You're going to have the electronics aren't supposed to work because of EMP radiation and shit that gets given off by nukes. But they were working the day after. And she goes into like, I was there, I was working in it the next day and shit. And like, she's 97 years old.
What, bro?
She did this interview.
Senile as hell.
She did this interview 2 years ago. I don't know if she's still alive, but she goes into like all kinds of crazy shit about like, they didn't believe that there was any sort of risk and they just sent her in there and she's fine. She's never had any health issues or anything. And it's like,
yeah, bro, she's lived that long with no kind of like side effects or anything.
Yeah.
Not only that long, she's lived longer than the average person.
Yeah. She's 97 right here, like recalling the 40s. Our president can't do that.
so real quick, you do believe that Chernobyl happened? right?
No.
Or do you think it was the gas leak?
So it's interesting to me that the people that were sent to document Chernobyl existing as a nuclear meltdown had none of the radioactive like PPE that they were supposed to have. They had like the fucking hospital masks that people were wearing during COVID. Their eyes were exposed, their ears were open, and shit like that. There's videos of people that will go check out the elephant's foot today.
Yeah.
And they'll sneak in there and like take videos of it and shit and be like, oh, look at this. They'll like touch shit and they're fine.
So have you heard the theory that it was actually just it was a massive natural gas leak explosion, and they said that there was a accident at Chernobyl to hide the fact that they'd been negligent in maintaining their infrastructure?
No.
I've never heard that. That's
Yeah, I actually just heard that today.
What?
So I don't
Really?
I don't know everything about it, but
Yeah.
they were saying that basically there was a massive natural gas leak because they weren't properly maintaining their infrastructure, and instead of making them as a country look like fucking idiots who don't take care of what they're supposed to, they said, oh yeah, so like this fucked up, and it blew up.
That's crazy timing that you just saw that today.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, it's like a psyop too, because you would think like, oh, look, nuclear energy is bad. You guys shouldn't be using this. Look what happened to us.
Dude, psyops on psyops, bro.
Speaking of the Russians lying, did you guys remember this like footage, like seeing it in history with like the Soviets parting nukes out and shit in the 60s? And like this might have been in your fucking textbook right here.
It looks very familiar. That specific picture.
So one of the top generals for Stalin came out and said that all of these nukes were fake. They built replicas that did nothing. All of them were empty fucking shells because they realized that it costs so much less to make people think that you have nukes than it is to actually build them.
Bro.
So they did this huge, massive parade. It was like worldwide news being like, you know, Russia's showing its strength and its nuclear shit. And all of them were empty. They were hollow.
Dude, everything's pro wrestling, dog.
Yeah. Like it says here, regularly about once, twice, or three times a year, we officially claim to have mastered some new missile technology. Following those announcements, we'd present them on the Red Square during parades. Only a very small circle of people was aware that a number of these missiles were simply fakes, a bit like Potemkin Village, and that they absolutely have no ability to fly. The models being pulled by tractors weren't missiles, they were replicas.
That's wild.
It's like they just did this big giant fucking gay parade with fucking fake missiles and shit.
Yes.
Also, what wonderful timing. Russia lied because of natural gas leak. Speaking of Russia.
Nice segue, dude. Fuck.
Dude, there's like footage of people watching the Bikini Atoll footage. So they estimate that where the atomic bomb explodes, that it's 10 times brighter than the sun. My question is, where is the glare? Just look at their nuclear goggles that they're all putting on, waiting for the bomb to drop. You can see glare from the sun.
I'm waiting.
Nothing.
Does anything ever happen?
Nothing. But so this was used in a PSA to say all of these people were watching, and like the wind going from their hair was the explosion blowing their hair back and shit.
Really?
Dude, it's like everything that has old footage, you go back and like with today's lenses of knowing just very little about editing or anything, and it's like makes no sense. Bro.
Yeah, it's like, dude, our grandparents were actually retarded.
Well, it's back in the day, like, dude,
they trusted the government back then.
Yeah, you believed there's something like somebody showing you a video of anything on TV, you're like, oh, it's real. Yeah.
The moon landing? Come on.
Yeah, it's like it's everything, dude. Like them nuclear bombing videos we're talking about. Like these dudes are opposed to like 100 yards away, just like laying in a ditch.
Yeah.
But they're good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was looking into like it's the National Institute of Health and shit like that, and it says like an exploding nuclear weapon instantly vaporizes itself. Solid material microseconds earlier becomes a gas hotter than the sun's 15 million degree core. 15 million degrees, dude.
Bro, how do they know that? What are they using to measure that?
Something that was vaporized.
It's like
couldn't give them readings.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's just 15 million. Fuck. Let's just go with that. I know it's a shit ton, but
Yeah. And like it says, a fireball of superheated air forms and grows rapidly 10 seconds after a 1 megaton. Now, granted, here Hiroshima was had like 20 megatons dropped on it. 10 seconds after a 1 megaton explosion, the fireball is a mile in diameter. The fireball glows visibly from its own heat, so visibly that the early stages of a 1 megaton fireball are many times brighter than the sun, even at a distance of 50 miles. But they had the cameras, 200 feet back, just enough to capture all those houses getting exploded. Kind of crazy.
it's stupid, bro.
Now, do you guys know about the Atomic Energy Act of 1946?
I know
no.
some about it, but nothing that I've looked at recently.
There are about 14 different parts in that document that says that every single participant, this includes like the people that were the janitors at the test site in like Nevada, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were made to sign a contract that said that if they leaked any information about the nuclear program to anybody, that it is punishable by death. By death, dude.
Motherfuckers weren't playing.
Which is insane. Or
in prison. Hell of an NDA.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Oh man. But yeah,
it's like didn't they just like pass some fucking law where like they like the Pentagon passed some shit just recently where they can kill American citizens for
DOD something. It was a new
some shit, yeah, where they're like
I know what
like
you're talking
protesting
about,
like some like they can literally kill you.
The military can carry out actions against the United States.
Some shit that just happened.
Yeah, they basically legalized Kent State. You guys remember?
I don't know what Kent State is.
What is that? Explain.
So Kent State was where like a bunch of college students went to go protest. I forget what it was specifically. I believe it was a war. It might have been Vietnam. I don't remember. But Nixon sent the National Guard there, and they shot a bunch of the fucking kids there and killed them. Yeah, like if you go back and like look at Kent State, that was basically the government's first admission of like, we're able to just kill you guys, and that's fine.
Yeah. Well, they put it in fucking writing, bro.
One of the images you might remember is, do you remember like a hippie girl putting a flower in the barrel of a gun?
That sounds familiar.
That was from Kent State. She put that flower in there, and they killed her for getting too close to them. They considered her a threat. Here's another picture of the bomb, Ground Zero here. There's plastics, like you see this plastic trash can right here just chilling. Apparently that experienced a 15 million degree fireball. Odd.
It's weird because there's obviously a lot of destruction, but it's like there's inconsistencies too, which is just
this
I don't
looks
know, bro.
Like napalm.
I was gonna say we have like all this like like AI and all this shit nowadays where they can just like, dude, they've had shit like that for. I'm not saying that's what this is, but I'm just saying it makes me question everything I ever saw back in the day, like historical photos and all this shit, because like I don't know what's what now,
Yeah.
And you best believe they've had that technology way before they let us measly peons fucking play with it.
Yeah.
All right, so explain this to me. Right?
Yeah.
Do you think that nukes don't actually exist, or that the majority of nukes are fakes?
I believe that the nukings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were fake.
We're faked. Okay, so you do
Yes.
believe that we have nukes?
I'm not convinced that we do.
I don't know, man.
Because we haven't
Okay.
used them since.
I know we have bombs.
This is why I will ask, right? So when Israel started pretending like they were getting nukes ready, why did the United States go, okay, fine, we'll help?
Because if they didn't play along, then all of our nuclear arsenal would be moot.
I do feel like we are kind of like Israel's little like
We're
side
their
project
bitch,
play
dude.
thing. You know what I'm saying?
We're their little fuck
Of
toy.
course, we're gonna do what's gonna make them look the best. Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
that's happened a lot.
Because it even goes into Einstein was potentially an Israeli asset to help funnel all of the Oak Ridge research into
the Manhattan
Mossad and
Project
shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we definitely have explored the concept of like fission explosion. I don't think that we've been able to figure it out for the same reason why we can't figure out the radiation belt around Earth and like getting people past that shit. Where it's
you
like
mean the firmament?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we just don't fucking know. We're stupid. But if we pretend we're smart, everyone will be afraid of us.
So you think it's like a control
All about
thing?
confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah,
Fake
dude.
it till you fucking make it.
Look at the Russians. Look at the fucking.
Yeah.
And then I think the only other thing I had on here was scientists like proving that mushroom clouds can be formed with chemical weapons. There's this guy named David Dearborn. He's a physicist at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. And he says, contrary to a common misconception, the shape of the mushroom cloud does not depend on the nuclear or thermonuclear component. As you note, a massive detonation of chemical explosions would produce the same effect. And I've always seen everyone say, oh, if it's a mushroom cloud, it's a nuke. It's nuclear.
So basically, nobody was scared enough, and it's like, here, let's create this big fucking boogeyman of a giant fucking nuke that can drop at any moment to just keep everybody on their toes.
That's what I think, because when you look at a regular bombing, once the explosion is over, the damage is done.
Yeah.
Nuclear is not the same, where it's like you have that constant, like persistent fear of just eternal suffering. And I think it was the government's way to psyop their ability to bring hell on Earth for the people that believe that hell was the final, like, stop or whatever.
Okay.
And that's my opinion.
I'm there with you. I mean, I don't really know about the whole nuke thing. There's a lot of fishy shit in it, like all the test footage, the shit you're pointing out. All we're missing is like a reason, and that would be a good reason to control the majority of the fucking world and everybody living on it.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's how you control people's fear.
Yeah.
And then everybody started trying to steal nuclear technology from us and was like, oh shit, it's not real.
Yeah.
And then they got the weapons of mass destruction, and it's like, no, actually you don't.
Yeah. No, your government is always honest.
Hey, you're not part of the crew, brother. You don't have weapons of mass destruction.
I could
Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys see where they launched a balloon that dropped trash on South Korea?
Oh no.
No, but that's funny as fuck.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I was like, I think the new Korean War is my favorite because it's just North Korea just being dicks all the time. Like, they're not killing people, but they'll play like the South Korean president is a pedophile over loudspeakers right at the border and shit. Like
Just troll them, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny.
It's like Xbox 360 fucking Modern Warfare game line.
I love it. I love it, dude. Kim Jong-un is funny. I think he's funny.
He's definitely a character, bro.
Yeah. But But I'm gonna leave it at that. I think that the U.S. government lied about the moon landing and the nukes.
Yeah, because Nixon can just make a fucking phone call to the moon.
Yeah.
And no latency, no fucking none of that shit. But I live between two mountains. I can't even make a fucking phone call out of here if I want to.
Yeah. You go through a tunnel and your 5G stops working.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Fuck.
Nixon had a landline to the moon.
Yeah, bro, straight up.
Fucking.
There's no delay, nothing, just perfect connection, man.
God.
So how is it up there, guys?
Yeah.
Dusty.
You don't say.
By the way, I'm not a crook.
I thought it was cheese this whole time.
Crazy.
Oh shit. But but that's all I got, man. I think we're over time actually. This was a good episode.
All good. Yeah, bro. Give them another shout out to where to find you and everything before we get off here.
Yeah, man.
I'm on TikTok until the ban is initiated. At Unethical Edge. YouTube, Unethical Edge. Twitter, Unethical Edge. You can find me everywhere.
Hey.
Yeah, bro. Go give them a follow. Check them out, dude. I had a lot of fun, bro. It was cool to have you on here. It's nice to meet you, man.
It's nice meeting you too, man.
I dig everything you're talking about, bro. It was really cool, enlightening, and it's something I never thought about, and holy shit. It just falls into place.
Yeah. I'm gonna start calling it Dungeons and Yahwehs. Yahwehs. Oh
Boy.
fuck. And you guys can find me 7Cs everywhere, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Spotify, Twitch, all that good stuff.
OATZMANE on fucking everything, which is only a few things, but just test it. If it's there, you'll find it.
Hey yo. And Unethical Edge, we're probably gonna have you back on another podcast episode eventually.
Bro,
maybe.
open door policy. If you ever want to,
Hey,
come
man.
on and hang out, bro. You're always welcome.
Y'all just let me know.
All
Yes,
right,
sir,
man.
bro. Fuck yeah.
Well, hey, if you've made it this far, we thank you guys. Appreciate you. And make sure you go support the stream, support the channel. All the links in the description for everybody that was on the episode. Some of the links for some of the stuff I might even include in the description. So feel free to check it out, comment. And if there's anything you want us to cover on the next episode, please feel free to leave some feedback for us. We're always down to look for new rabbit holes. I feel like I found them all, and then I wake up the next day and there's 40 more. So.
And then God's a dragon, bro.
Yeah.
You think you know them all, and then God's a fucking
dragon.
Hey, yo. All right, y'all. Peace. See you next time.